Hi guys, it's Quinn. I haven't done a video in ages, months. I just haven't really had a lot to share and I've been busy, but my dogs are wanting to say hello, but I went to BEA last week, so I actually have quite the haul to share with you. Every book except for one is from BEA, so I'm just going to jump in because I have a lot. So I got some sort of adultish books. I got Bella Andre's Always on My Mind, which is, I think, the last one in the Sullivan series. I've read a couple of her books and I think they're pretty cute. They're contemporary romance and they're all from this big family, and I love books about families, and you know, that makes me happy. So I got that. She was pretty cute too. She looked very West Coast, her style. I got Lori Foster's No Limits. I kind of love Lori Foster. I haven't read more of her more recent books, but she used to write these books about mixed martial arts fighters, and they were just so great. And then she kind of did some other different types of books, but now she's kind of going back to the fighters, and I've already read this, and I really like it. I also got Shannon Stacey's Falling for Max, which is another one of her series. She's got a big family too, and I haven't read this, but it looks pretty cute. It's pretty small, but I don't know. I just love contemporary romance, especially in the spring and the summer. I don't want to read anything else. I got some new adultish books. I got All Lined Up by Cora Carmack, which I actually already read. I picked up an e-copy of it. I bought an e-book of it, but I really liked it, so I wanted my own copy, and it's signed. I also got Finding It by Cora Carmack, which I have not read yet, so I'm excited to give that a try. And in the same signing line as Finding It, I got Wait for You by Jennifer Armentrout. She's writing as Jeaniene. I have read this as well. I bought this as an ebook when she self-published it, and I really liked it, so I'm excited to read it. I think Jennifer Armentrout was great. I mean, to reread it. And it's signed to me, so that makes me happy. And this one actually is sort of a fluke that I got. It's Jeaniene Frost's The Beautiful Ashes. I haven't read anything by her. When I was waiting in line on Saturday, the Harlequin publishers came up with this big box of ARCs of this book, and she said, you know, does anyone want them? I think since it was Saturday, they were trying to get rid of some of their stuff so they didn't have to lug it back to the offices. And I was thinking, oh, I'll get it for this patron at work because I know she likes Jeaniene Frost. But then I sort of thought better of it because she's a teenager, and I think there's probably sex in this. So I might give it a try. I got quite a few teen books. I got Sisters by Raina Telgemeier. This might be middle grade, I'm not sure. This is a graphic novel. I've read two of her other graphic novels, which I really, really liked, Drama and Smile. So this was one of the ones I didn't want to miss out on. I knew it was going to be there, and I got it, so I'm excited to read this. I don't read a lot of graphic novels, but I really did like the ones that she's written. I also got The Girl Who Never Was. Yeah, The Girl Who Never Was by Skylar, Dorset. This is a book that I think has fairies in it, and I'm generally not a fairy, you know, storyline lover, but this looked really interesting, so I couldn't pass it up. And they had a lot of them, so I didn't feel like I was depriving anyone else. I was in a Harlequin teen signing line where I got the Jeaniene Frost book, and the three authors that were there, here's one of them, Alsaid. I'm not sure if that's how you say his name, but this book is called Let's Get Lost, and it looks really fun. It's a teen book. They have little postcards, so I'm excited to read this. He was real nice. I think this is his debut. He said that I was the first book he signed to a Quinn, so. And then I got Talon by Julie Kagawa. I know this was a pretty hot ticket item. I haven't read anything by her, but this one has dragons, so I like dragons. And then I also got this historical fiction by Robin Talley called Lies We Tell Ourselves, which is set in 1959 Virginia during the Civil Rights Movement. I also got Get Even by Gretchen McNeil. I read 10 and really liked it, and this one looks kind of spooky and murder mystery-ish, suspenseful, and, you know, how could I say no? This one I'm really excited about. I got The Fine Art of Pretending by Rachel Harris. I haven't read anything by her yet, but she's on my list to, you know, I want to check her books out, and I got this. There was a really long line for this book, so I'm so glad I got it. I got Starry Night by Isabel Gillies? I don't know how to say her name. She's an actress, but she wrote a book, YA book, so it looks interesting. I got Becca Fitzpatrick's Black Ice. This was lucky I got this one. I didn't even know it was going to be here, but I went to a panel. It was called What's It Like to Be Teen, and Becca Fitzpatrick was one of the authors who was speaking, and they brought out some books of this, so I got it. This looks really fun. There's, you know, hiking through the mountains, and I think there's a snowstorm, and there's murderers, and it's going to be suspenseful, and I like that kind of stuff. I got Camp Boyfriend by J.K. Rock. She actually wasn't signing this book. She was signing a different one in this series. It had Boyfriend in the title, but I can't remember what it's called. But I was, I got one of the last copies that they had. They had this one, which I think is the first in this Boyfriend series, and then one more copy of the book that she was originally signing. So I got this, which is good. It looks interesting, you know, romantic, teen, and summery. So, and it's the first in the series. When I got the J.K. Rock book, I also got these two books by Eliot. This one is How I Fall. It's an arc. And then Unmaking Hunter Kennedy, which is a finished copy, both by Eliot. It's kind of interesting. She's sort of, Eliot, I was looking up on her, she sort of started her own publishing place, so they're not exactly self-published, but they kind of are. And I read this one already, the Unmaking of Hunter Kennedy, or Unmaking Hunter Kennedy, which I liked. But there were definitely some editing issues, so, but even so, I quite liked it. And then I'm excited to read this one, How I Fall, more like romantic teen romances. And those are all the teen books I got. I also got some, like, kids' middle grade books. I got Nest by Esther Ehrlich. I did read the back of this, but I can't remember what it was about. There's a lot of books I've read since, but this looked really good. I just love kids' books, so I'm going to put that over here. I ended up with 2 copies of this, I think it's just a sample of 365 Days of Wonder by R.J. Palacio. R.J. Palacio wrote Wonder, which is just such an amazing book. And so when I found out she was there, I knew I was going to get in her signing line, and she was signing this. It's kind of lame. I wish they were, like, signing, I don't know. This little thing is, I mean, it's so short, but it's signed, so I'll deal with it. But they were also, before the signing, they were handing out, just when I was walking around on the floor, they were handing out, like, little tote bags that had, like, Wonder stuff on it from the book, and so I got that, and inside that was one of the samples, so I ended up with 2. I also ended up with 2 copies of Thursdays with the Crown. The reason that this happened is I knew I wanted this. This was one of the books at the top of my list. I love Jessica Day George. I've read this series. I've read the first 2 books in this series, Tuesdays at the Castle and Wednesdays in the Tower, and I really like them. Couldn't wait to get Thursdays with the Crown, but I didn't think I'd be able to make it to the signing. I thought there must have been something else at the same time. But Bloomsbury, this is from Bloomsbury, they were having a couple galley drops, so I made sure I hit the first one so I could get Thursdays with the Crown. But then it turned out, and it wasn't at the same time, I was able to make it to the signing, and I didn't have the, you know, the one I already had with me, so I got this one signed. But that's okay, because I love these books. I'll definitely find a use for both of them. In that galley drop, I also got, from Bloomsbury, I got Magic in the Mix, which is by Annie Barrows. She's written the Ivy and Bean books, which are young children's books. They're fantastic. If you have kids who are starting to read chapter books on their own, if they're maybe about 7 years old, you cannot go wrong with Ivy and Bean. But this is not an Ivy and Bean series. It's a little bit bigger. And I read the first one a while ago called Half Magic, I think, which I liked. Not as much as Ivy and Bean, but I liked, so I'm excited to read the next one, which is Magic in the Mix. And then the last book in that galley drop is Edie Baker's The Fairy Tale Matchmaker. I haven't read anything by her, but I've been wanting to. She always has these fun kids' fairy tale-esque chapter books, and they look right up my alley. So I'm glad to get this. I'll give this a try. I got Carl Hyacint's Skink No Surrender. I'm not actually sure what skink means, but I'm thinking we'll find out. I just adore Carl Hyacin. I've read all of his middle grade books and some of his adult books, and I can't wait to read this. The book is like all soft and smooth. His books are so funny, and they're always set in Florida, and you know, have something to do with like protecting the environment and the Everglades and the animals that live there, and I'm excited. I've got Bad Magic by Pseudonymous Bosch. He wrote the Secret series, which I have not read, middle grade books, but I've heard that they're really good and they're on my list to give it a try, but this is a different series, and it looks like it's fantasy with adventure and kids, and it just looks awesome. I got Frank Einstein and the Antimatter Motor by John Sheska. This is definitely a kid's book, not really middle grade. You can see there's pictures in it. But I think John Sheska is fantastic. He's written some fantastic picture books that I just adore, so I'm really excited to read this. And the last kids middle grade book I got is Thrones and Bones Frostborn by Lou Anders. This is another fantasy adventure book. I haven't read anything by him. I don't know if this is a debut, but it looks awesome and fun. And then the last book I got from BEA, and the one that was at the top of my list to get, was Rainbow Rowell's Landline. And I got it signed, and they also had samples of the audiobook, so I have that, but it's in my car because I'm listening to it. I'm so excited to have this. I just love Rainbow Rowell. She was so sweet and really nice. She took such a long line. So yay! So those are all the books that I got at BEA. Quite a stack. I did have one other to share with you. On Saturday, Simon & Schuster had copies of the Lizzie Bennet, of the Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet, which is sort of the book based from the Lizzie Bennet Diaries, which is on YouTube. And I missed out on that. I didn't know what was going to happen. They tweeted it, and I didn't see it till after, and I was sad. I even went and asked them if they had any left, but they didn't. But I checked NetGalley, and it was there and on Edelweiss. I must have missed it when I was checking out NetGalley. I don't know how I did that, but I requested it, and they approved me right away. Yay for being a librarian. And so I got The Secret Diary of Lizzie Bennet, which I'm actually currently reading because I was reading Thursdays with the Crown, and although it's totally adorable, that had to go on hold so I could read this. So those are all the books I got. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. I'm working a lot, unfortunately, but I think tonight, which is actually Thursday night, it's about 9 o'clock right now on Thursday, I worked in the evening, but I don't work tomorrow. Well, I kind of work tomorrow, but not really. I don't have to do anything until 4:30. I am going to, I think, go see Maleficent. I have not seen that, and I'm curious. I'm going to go by myself, but popcorn and junk food sounds really good, and a soda, and I can sleep in tomorrow. So have a nice day.